Good evening, viewers. This is Richard, Bowls Theory of Everything. I'm standing outside my new outdoor bowls club, and what a beautiful little club it is. It has a wooden fence and that surrounds it, and when I go in you will see that the green is surrounded by other gardens and houses. It is beautiful. I'll show you, I'll pan round here. So it's like an oasis in a town of a few thousand people, and it's a beautiful summer evening, and someone a few years ago had the brilliant idea of turning this ground into a bowling green. And isn't that beautiful? These greens are typical of those in England. There are about 45 members here, and they have to work very, very hard to keep this green in this condition, and the club, and they're rewarded by something like this. I'll go round in a minute and explain how this green compares to an indoor rink. The first thing to note about the green is that it's not very large. A lot of indoor greens have 34 meters of length, which means or even 36, so they can go up to 32-meter jack, whereas here you're probably looking at about a 28-meter jack maximum. So it's about a good 4 yards short, but that's not a bad thing, because on the grass green like this, conditions are much heavier, so the longer jack turns it into a different game. Look, the birds are enjoying it in the far corner there. The other thing to notice is that the outside of the rink does get worn. You can see I'm walking along here. People step off the bank and people stand around, and unlike an indoor where the surface is maybe a concrete or boarding, this is grass and it will wear off. They've kept this bit of the green with more grass on at the moment. This is the side edge at the moment. Now what happens is that every few weeks you turn the rinks around. So this here is the side edge now, but in a few weeks time this will be the end edge, and there's markings on the bank there which tells you where the rinks go. You can see those coloured marks. You can switch them around west to south. You can also have them slightly wider, so in order to even the wear, you can have the rink starting on the white marker there, or the rink starting on the yellow marker. So the white marker there goes up to this white marker, but you could equally have a yellow marker there up to the yellow marker there, so that evens things out. When the wear on the edge is very bad, you'll find it slopes down and the bowls will drop off the end of the rink as soon as they get anywhere near it. What you can do, I don't know if they do it here yet, but at a club I belonged to many years ago, they used to cut chunks out of here. So they cut the lawn here in a rectangle like that, and it's called a sod. You take a lump of earth out and then you reverse it, so instead of it sloping down, it slopes up at the edge, and it's quite a lengthy process, but it can be done. But the green is in fine shape. You can see there are different patches on it already, different colorations. Some are darker and some are lighter. Some are a bit worn, like here, a little bit worn there. And the popular rinks will be more worn. So here it looks a bit more worn. And another thing you can see is lines. So you've got tram lines where the bowls go, and I don't know if you can see that, but some tram lines go up towards the jack, others go straight on, and this you'll find is typical of an outdoor green. You're just slightly wide of the line and your bowl goes straight on. But there are ways in and you have to find them. Another feature of these greens is how they're mown. Now this is mown 3 times a week by a wonderful greenkeeper here, and you don't go straight up and down there, you have to mow it diagonally, and I think you can see those stripes on the green here, and it has to be at a 45-degree angle. And furthermore, again, you can see on those stripes the mower goes one way, and then you turn the mower around on the end and come back the other way. That thereby evens the mowing over the green as a whole. It prevents rutting, and it also prevents the grass being suppressed and leaning one way, a bit like against a nap on a snooker table. But that has to be done with care, and we've got a lovely groundsman here, and all credit to him, it looks wonderful. I'm now going to bowl up to this jack, and when you're indoors, you're standing on a mat, you're looking probably at the number of the next rink. So we're on rink 3. I'll move up the rink, and you can see then perhaps a bit more clearly. I'm moving up the rink now, and we're on rink 3. If you look over, a pan over to the left, and there's the rink 2 marker, which is about 4 meters wider of where the rink 3 is. So in indoors, you'd be taking aim for the number 2, if that's your method of aiming at the bank, at least, sometimes wider than that. But I'll show now, if you look at these tram lines, they look pretty straight. So I should be aiming, there's a tree directly behind the number 3. But if you look to the left of the 3, and it's only about 2 or 3 feet to the left, there's a white line painted. I'm now up towards the end of the rink, and I'm showing you the rink number 3, and there's rink number 2. And if you're indoors, you'd be looking on this rink and aiming for the number 2, which is about 4 meters wide. But because it's so much heavier, you have to bowl much straighter on here. Well, I'm looking down the green now, and behind the number 3 there's a lovely tree, but just to the left of the number 3 there's a white marker. That's for when the rinks are moved up a couple of feet each way to even the wear out. But for the purposes today, I'm going to take that as my bowling backhand, as my marker. If the 3 was on the white line and I was bowling forehand, I'd take the yellow as my marker. So now I'm coming backwards, and you can probably see the tram lines. They look fairly straight. So I've bowled on this once, this rink, and I know roughly where the line is. So I'll pause it now and bowl and see how I get on. Here I am on the mat. I'm going to be bowling. I've got the camera in one hand, I've got a bowl in the other hand, but just to see how it works out, I'm going to bowl down that line where the jack is, just aiming just to the left on that white marker. It's heavier than I thought, so it's not as heavy. I'm aiming just 2 or 3 feet wide of the jack. There, you see it? I'm still a bit heavy. No, that's pretty good. You see that didn't take much green, and it's just shy of the jack. Right, another bowl down to that jack. It's not that long, but the green has speeded up from the other day. So let's give it a go, just aiming on that white point. See if I can do it. There, I've got the camera on that. You see, it's there, that's pretty good. It's pretty good. It just kept its line. You can see how straight that was. I aimed for the white line, and it's still the same side of the jack. But good news is, it's speeded up from when I practiced the other day. I'm now looking back towards the pavilion from where I've just bowled. Beautiful little pavilion where you can get teas and coffees and have little meetings, and there's an outdoor changing room just to the left there, and if the weather's foul there's facilities inside. But what a beautiful club, and what a beautiful evening, and the birds are singing. What could be better? I'm now going to try a forehand. If you look down the end, you'll see a flower pot, which is about 4 or 5 feet wide of the jack. There's a little white line next to that. That's still nearly 4 feet. So it's probably somewhere in between that and the number 3 marker on the bank. Because if you look at those tram lines, you go slightly too wide, the bowl will go straight on. I'm just picking my bowl up. Let's see how it goes. So I'll be aiming down there. I'm a bit heavy with that, I think. Let's see how the line goes though. The line wasn't bad though. See what? But I'm still slightly too wide. So when I come out in a match, I'll have to tighten those lines up. But all in all, the green's looking good and running very nicely. Up there. Tomorrow night, I'm playing at a village about 10 miles away. Not too far, a bit less. It'll take me 15 minutes to get there. First game representing the club, and then I've been asked to play on Tuesday night here. Good news is the green's looking great. The green's mown on a Tuesday morning, and the weather is going to be up over 20. So I look forward to seeing you soon and giving you an update on the outdoor bowling here in my home county of Suffolk. Thanks very much for watching, and if you'd like to see more about these typical English greens, please subscribe and ask any questions you want. It must be fascinating, those people from abroad, to see this lovely outdoor green, typical English. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.